Beijing, the heart of the ancient East Country China, with a population of over 20 million, a city with such density, it's always busy, crowded, and loud. And as a foreigner living in a metropolitan city like Beijing, I've always wondered, have I blended in yet?
You know, many people have asked me, why did I choose to live in Beijing? Well, my work has kept me here for many years. But not all expats live the same lifestyle in China, like this guy, who lives in a small town in Yunnan in South China, which is 3,000 kilometers away.
Xizhou is a small town near the ancient city of Dali, Yunnan, southwest China, with Arhai Lake in the east and the Zhangjiang Mountain in the west. Xizhou is an aggregation area for the Bai ethnic group. Bai people's residential buildings are all over and well preserved here, showing their creativity in architecture and style. In such a remote ethnic town, there's an American whose name has become a household name. I mean, everybody knows him.
您认识林登吗？
认识啊。
见过。
哎，林登，认识啊。
他一个傻傻的鼻子。他就这个嘛。他家住的新店。
Hey, welcome everyone to my home. My name is Brian Linden and I come from Chicago, but we are now in Xizhou and this is now my home. Everybody calls me the Cunjiang, so the kind of, they call me the Lin Cunjiang, and that is quite an honorific. This is something that I'm quite proud of. Every morning I'm the first one to usually get up here at the center, and I try to get the breakfast ready, I make the coffee, and I spend the rest of my day really interacting in some way with our visitors. And I like to try to reach out to all of them.
我起得晚，对，你起的几点起？这是11点。差不多。哇，很好。
Brian visited China for the first time as an international student in 1984. After pursuing his PhD at Stanford University, Brian worked as a senior executive and consultant for companies around the world, and later owned an Asian art gallery in the United States. In 1993, Brian got married with a Chinese-American woman from San Francisco. The Lindens have traveled to over 100 countries during the past 4 decades.
Well, Brian, I'm wondering, why did you like to come back to China after you've already opened up an art gallery in the U.S.?
Most of the people overseas had a very limited understanding of the changes that were occurring in China and the cultural richness of this country. So my goal was to really come back to China and try to create a platform that would in some way, introduce the outside world to some of the cultural richness that represented maybe the 4,970 years that preceded the most recent 30 years of economic changes, which is amazing growth. It's a miraculous growth. I've chosen to live in Xizhou, I think, for one main reason, and it's the people. I love the Chinese people, and I feel that being in rural China allows you to interact at a slower speed. In Xizhou, one of my favorite places would probably be, I would say, the agricultural fields. I think that this represents that connection that China has with the earth, with the soil, with the 土地, and it allows you to have deeper interactions with China. And being in the small villages allows us to slow down and maybe have a deeper understanding and have the time to more fully understand the cultural richness of China.
This is the Linden Center, a classic example of Chinese Bai-style architecture, and it's also one of Xizhou's heritage sites protected at the national level. The site itself was first constructed in 1948 and has changed hands several times. After the Lindens visited Xizhou ancient town in 2004, they desired to renovate and repurpose this Bai courtyard home as an international cultural center. After 2 years of constant negotiation and communication with the local government, they were granted the ability to protect and properly restore the compound. In the end, their efforts and sincerity earned the trust and support of the local government.
他是一个来到我们喜洲古镇对古民居进行修缮、活化利用的一个外国人。在经营的这几年，他跟我们喜洲的村民也是比较融入的，带来了一些比较先进的一些经营理念、管理理念。这也是把我们的一个喜洲一个古镇，把它推向国际化的一个很好的一个平台。
它通过这样一个文化型的文物保护建筑传播给这个地方带来了相当高的知名度，为当地的村民提供一种新的经济发展方向。
Through the continuous efforts of the Lindens and the local government, the Linden Center was finally finished in April 2008. Since then, the Lindens truly began their cultural journey.
我知道你们这个客栈。
真的吗？怎么知道呢？
你们很出名。
Being in China, I feel that I'm part of a larger, almost like a larger village. The village has become my family, and that's really reassuring. I always feel safe here. I always feel that people are there to take care of us, and that's something I don't think I could live without anymore. I find that in the West, I focus so much on myself, and I gauge my success sometimes based on individual achievements. Whereas I find here in China, many individuals gauge their success also through the extended network of their family, and sometimes through their village, or sometimes through their company. And I feel that that's something that I find really impressive. And I have adopted many of those feelings now, and I find I am much less individualistic than I was before I came to China. I feel that somehow the world should understand China by being here, being aware, having experiences.
Wow, what an impressive story. You know, there are a lot of foreigners who live in China, but Brian Linden's life is so different. I think the key words to his success would be blend in. I'm impressed by the way that he has good relationships with the local people. He put his heart into that courtyard and blending Chinese culture and history with modern marketing. He also blends his life and his family with the lives of local people. I definitely will visit him as soon as I can. Won't you join me?